Hello, family. How y'all doing? This is Harper Harp. I'm coming back to y'all. I want to talk to you guys about something here. I was invited to a wedding. Of course, I just kind of like glimpsed in, because you got to watch socializing with certain people when you woke and when you have certain things going on. And we live in a world with white people, and a lot of times they want to be our friends and so forth. And we, work and corporate, and sometimes we competing and just living life, under this kind of thing. And a black person working and under this thing, we know that it's slavery. It's definitely slavery. And I'm gonna tell you what I'm experiencing. Now, I'm right now in front of a Primrose Cottage. If don't nobody know what Primrose Cottage is, look it up. It's in Roswell, Georgia. It belongs to a slaveholder. Primrose Cottage was one of the first private properties built in Roswell for Mr. Roswell's um, widow. And it was in 1939, I think. And Mr. Roswell, he holds slaves. And the town was named after him, Roswell, Georgia, because he came to this town with his slaves, and I think it was like 30 of them first, and they bear children. And Roswell, he was a dirty man. He was so filthy and sexually divas. He used to abuse his female slaves and get all the drunk friends to come and do it. And he had got so bad, the white society took him to court because they didn't even like it. It was so bad. He just would get them all out in the yard, and throughout the years, they be having babies from white men. Don't know who the daddy, and they point at the kids when they drinking and saying, "Oh, that one looks like me. That one kind of looks like me," and it really had these female slaves in fear, all in the hills of Roswell, Georgia, um, raping them endlessly for years. And he owned slaves in his. There's a Smith plantation, a Barrington plantation. Now the Barrington plantation was where President Roosevelt family was, and this is the revenue of Roswell. They built the Roswell Creek, Roswell Falls. Now, what I want to talk about in terms of what I'm feeling now, I'm in front of this place called Primrose Cottage. Primrose Cottage. Look it up. And there's a white celebration, and they get married here. If you look it up, you will see that it's a venue where people get married and they pay a lot of money to use it. So somewhere where slaves serve, that's basically a museum, is being used for revenue to the white society or some kind of holder or capital of white person that held slaves. And I'm assisting with the limo service that I have, and they're always in here celebrating, and it's online. You can look at it. And they do it at all the plantations around Georgia. It's a thing for white people to rent the plantations because they're constantly making money off this. They're making money off slavery right now. All this was slavery and the elements of it, and don't even care how we feel or what we get. And the black politicians, they ain't even looking at it. So you got white people making money off of the things that help slavery. And we haven't even been given reparations for this type of thing. So you see, this is a problem. We're in slavery. We're paying taxes. There, we don't. What is we don't have what they have because they started off and now they have generational wealth. Generational wealth. So off of slavery. I mean, banks and everything. We so far behind. It's ridiculous. And they having parties on the plantations that we were on, our people were on. And I'm sure Mr. Roswell got some black children running around Atlanta, probably 60, 70 years old and lineage to this and just running around like wild dogs because you don't have no anchor to where you come from or share any kind of inheritance or ties to who you really are because you were a slave, because you a black person. And then white people saying they ain't got nothing against you. This ain't got nothing to do with you like me or not. This is a different science. This is a systemic racism. This is pathetic. It's infested to the point where you serve as a black person right now automatically and contagion to that which other people benefit and that make people people. You're not even considered a person because it's very that's wrong to even. I think it should be in the mandate that no white person citizen should be able to celebrate on any historic plantation or historic slavery museum without paying money to a pot that goes to black people. Would be reparations or something like they do the native Indians. But they don't have to do that. These people getting fat and rich and then looking at us and calling us the N-word. And not only that, we working for them still and paying taxes. So we don't have any liberty of America. And our icons are quiet. They're paid to be quiet. So basically, they paying people to be overseers over slavery, and now slavery is paid. You pay a slave enough to eat, but not enough to live in this place. And you don't give them what you give people. What you give people. That's what it is. Because they're not people. They're descendants of slaves. And they hold the apparatus of wealth for the country. This is how they were made and shaped. And I don't know where our politicians are with this subject or with these claims and this debt. This is a debt. This is a blood debt owed to our community and our cities. It's 45 million black people in this country. This is a crime going on. I choose to stand and I choose to say something. You know what? Reparations is the center of our movement. And it's a very good reason why. That's the only thing that's going to work. Thank you for joining me.